more as a middle distance horse than a Guineas colt. But you never know, time will tell in the spring.
Well, in the windy spring of 1989, that suddenly changed. The Blushing Groom colt revealed so much speed on the gallops that Major Hearn decided to go straight for the 2,000 guineas without a prior run, just as he'd done with his great miler Brigadier Gerard 18 years ago. As Nashwan strode fluently to post at Newmarket, there was an air of expectancy of a champion about to be revealed.
Just over 2 to go, and it's Nashwan now that strikes the front. Nashwan in the lead, but coming there strongly is Exborn in a white cap. Danehill pressing for the lead. A lunar mover, mark of distinction, opens up. Saratogan tries to quicken up. Zayani with it all to do, but Nashwan pressed on the far side by Danehill. Mark of distinction in the brown colours. Exborn with a white cap. They're inside the final furlong, and Nashwan just has it from Danehill. Exborn finishing strongly, but Nashwan quickens again inside the final furlong, and Nashwan wins from Exborn Danehill.
The ecstatic reception Newmarket racegoers gave Willie Carson and Nashwan was not only recognition of a great performance, but also a feeling of universal goodwill for one man, Major Hearn, wheelchair-bound since his hunting accident. Nashwan won his guineas in the fastest ever electronically recorded time, but it is easy to crib the guineas' form. Apart from Shardy, who failed to show his true form, none of the others upheld the form over a mile. However, what should be remembered is that Nashwan essentially was a Derby horse who proved good enough and fast enough to beat specialist milers at their own trip. Although Blushing Groom, his sire, raised some stamina doubts, virtually all pedigree experts agreed that his dam, Height of Fashion, dispelled those doubts, and the question was who could beat him at Epsom. The answer appeared to be Cacoethes, highly impressive winner of the Lingfield Derby trial. On Derby Day, he was the only horse seriously backed to stop Nashwan becoming the first colt since Nijinsky to land the Guineas Derby double. The race itself produced a real surprise.
But it's Cacoethes in front now as they begin the descent, and with just over 4 furlongs to go. Torjou next to the rails, Cacoethes cruising on the outside of him. Then behind these comes Ildeniski. Nashwan now pushed along in 4, but Starkey goes for home with 3 furlongs to go in the ever-ready Derby. Cacoethes pressed on the outside by Ildeniski, but here comes Nashwan with a good-looking split. Torjou backing 4. They race down towards the 2-furlong marker, and the duel we expected is materialising. But it's Nashwan that goes on. It's Nashwan and Willie Carson, a length ahead of Cacoethes and Starkey. A furlong and a half to go in the Derby, and Nashwan has it. Cacoethes in second place. Back in third is Terrimon, but inside the final furlong, Nashwan provides an electrifying burst of speed. It's a one-horse race. Willie Carson in the drive position. Nashwan wins it easily. At the line, Nashwan is the winner. Terrimon came through in second. Cacoethes third.
Nashwan's supremacy was undeniable. Only Slip Anchor, Shergar and the Hearn trade Troy had won so easily in the previous decade. But with 500 to 1 outsider Terrimon in second, what did he beat? It can also be argued that Cacoethes lost second place because he cracked under the strain of his battle with Nashwan in the straight. The fact remains that no other runner in the 1989 Derby field distinguished himself that season. And so to Sandown for the Coral Eclipse and a mouth-watering confrontation with the older horses. The Harwood-trained 4-year-old Warning, Europe's champion miler of 1988, was to attempt 10 furlongs for the first time, while Henry Cecil's brilliant race mare Indian Skimmer was confirmed a runner, despite doubts about the firm ground. Outstanding winner of the Prix de Diane at 3, Indian Skimmer had been one of the best 10-furlong horses in Europe at 4, and on her latest start had beaten the best older horses in France in the Prix d'Ispahan. Surely she would tell us just how good Nashwan really was.
Under 3 to race, an opening verse clear of Nashwan and Indian Skimmer, and Warning, who when he goes past the 2-furlong marker will be in unknown territory, and they come down towards the 2, and it's opening verse being pressed hard by Warning and by Nashwan, and here comes Nashwan on the outside, a furlong and a half to go, and Nashwan goes on, and the crowd rise to a champion. It's Nashwan clear by 2, back to 3 to Indian Skimmer. Warning is right out of it, he's struggling, but Nashwan has it, and in the quest for the best, it's Nashwan who pulls 4 clear. The race is for the place. Nashwan has it. He maintains his unbeaten record. This isn't his best this trip, but is winning it emphatically, and Nashwan is the winner. A photo-second opening.
Again, a stylish win for Nashwan. Again, the result, an enigma. Surely Indian skimmer on her best form would be expected to dispose of opening verse with little difficulty, and Warning clearly was not himself. Indian skimmer never raced again, and opening verse subsequently only won a listed race. Everyone, though, was highly impressed by the way Nashwan, with his ground-devouring stride, had scooted clear. Here was a horse being acclaimed a great champion, but there were words of caution.
He's won the 2,000 guineas, the Derby, and now the Eclipse. That's a feat that hasn't been achieved for a very long time. But those are facts, and the interpretation of these races may not show him in the same light that other people are running away with at the moment. But it's a little too premature to be talking in terms of greatness as far as Nashwan or any other horse at this time of year. That happens at the end of the year. It's races like the Arc de Triomphe or the Champion Stakes decide those things.
Just 2 weeks after the Coral Eclipse, Nashwan had his stiffest task to date in the King George and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes. Many had hoped it would see him matched against the highly impressive French and Irish Derby winner Old Vic. Sadly, he was sidelined. Nevertheless, Nashwan, still making only his 6th racecourse appearance, was bidding to become the first horse to win the Guineas, Derby, Eclipse and King George in one season. Milreef and Dancing Brave had won 3 legs, and Nijinsky had won the Irish Derby instead of the Eclipse. The older generation were represented by the likes of Sherriff Star and Carroll House, but again it was Cacoethes who provided the main opposition, and this time we were treated to the full-blooded battle that had failed to materialise at Epsom.
Top Class has gone to the front now from Carroll House and Polemos. Nashwan is in 4, Cacoethes 5. Into the home straight, an enterprising Brit for Glory here by Michael Roberts as he stormed clear on Top Class under pressure. Nashwan has now moved into 2nd. Nashwan is being tracked by Cacoethes. Nashwan is cutting down Top Class as though he didn't exist. Nashwan has stored into the lead now from Cacoethes, who's coming there to over-challenge him. It's Nashwan and Cacoethes now, the big 2 3-year-olds as they race towards the line. Nashwan on the far side, Cacoethes on the near side. As they race to the line, it's Nashwan and Cacoethes, and Nashwan has won it. Nashwan has won it from Cacoethes. Top Class is 3rd.
At the height of summer, it was possible to believe these were 2 colts of high merit, and that we were lucky to witness their rivalry. What cannot be denied is that they came right away from a field of good older horses. But since then, both Nashwan and Cacoethes have fallen from grace. Possibly the toughness of this battle, like the Grundy-Bustino duel of 1975, left a mark on both horses. In just 6 races, Nashwan had shown all the hallmarks of a champion: brilliance, acceleration, courage and classic stamina. After a midsummer break, it was hoped that Nashwan would crown a glorious career with victory in one of the major autumn races, but sadly this came unstuck with his defeat in the Prix Niel at Longchamp. So, how do we rate Nashwan? Well, someone whose task it is to do just that is Major Arkwright, the Jockey Club handicapper.
I think Nashwan is a very good horse indeed. He's made history by winning the Guineas, the Derby, the Eclipse, and the King George, and this is the stamp of a really good horse. My trouble is, as a handicapper and with a view to the classifications, is the horses that are finished behind him. He's beaten them all, he's done everything that has been asked of him, and you can't take it away from him just because he didn't have great opposition to beat. He did beat them, and I think that, one mustn't forget that. We've probably all seen those lovely pictures of him, his stride. He took on the older horses, which we like to see, but his form is difficult, and I'm afraid I cannot put him into the same league as Dancing Brave or Shergar.
Willie Carson is on record as saying that Nashwan is the best he's ever ridden, and Major Hearn has said he's the best he's trained. To place Nashwan ahead of Troy is one thing. To consider him even the equal of Brigadier Gerard is high praise indeed. Like other great horses before him, Nijinsky, Brigadier Gerard, Milreef, Shergar and Dancing Brave, Nashwan can be excused one defeat and clearly was capable of excellence. But he lacks the enduring quality of the all-time greats.